Chair Conference, Rob Witherspoon, Bristol and District, Mall to move emergency motion E2. Now we were asked to submit this emergency motion by some of our ROMEC cleaning employees who received letters on the 1st of March from their employer related to the pay review that was outlined in LTB 05/216 last year. This letter was outlining changes in their pay rates. Now, most of the pay was broadly similar, and obviously there were some increases due to the recent pay deal. However, what was very worrying was a dramatic reduction in the weekend overtime rates, which had dropped by up to, and in some cases over, £3 an hour, an average of a 25% decrease in that rate. Obviously, this has created great concern amongst those members. One member estimated that the cumulative impact of the loss in the weekend overtime and also the loss of the quarterly bonus that had taken place meant that they would be £1,000 a year worse off, which I'm sure, as you can imagine, for one of our lowest paid grades is very difficult to bear. The majority of the affected staff have now said they will not be performing overtime on the weekend anymore, as despite the financial hardship this will obviously cause, it's not worth giving up their weekends for the rates that they've been offered. And actually, when they work out the amount of hours they're being offered compared against their travel time and their travel costs, it is barely worth performing that overtime. So I hope that ROMEC will take notice of the resourcing problems that this will inevitably cause for them, as it is entirely of their own making. What's also unfortunate about the timing of this is, whilst I know that there's no connection between the reduction in weekend pay and the great achievement that was ROMEC being brought back in-house with Royal Mail, however, coming so close to the announcement, it has been difficult to convince some of our members of that these are separate issues, and this has actually really overshadowed what should be a source of great pride for this union and for the members in that section. Now, I had some discussions with Bob Gibson earlier in the week, and he's indicated that it's not just weekend overtime where ROMEC have taken the payments, and there are actually other payments that ROMEC have taken that they're not entitled to and have never been agreed with the union. I hope that will be expanded on in the statement accept. But I have to say, some of our members are struggling to understand, as am I, if I'm honest, how enhanced weekend rates that they've enjoyed for in excess of 10 years can possibly be fair game in a pay review. So the reason it's an emergency motion is because this is an emergency and warrants an urgent response in terms of negotiations. I hope that is recognised in the statement to accept. Conference, please support.
Thanks, Rob. Is it formally seconded? Emergency motion E2 open for debate. No debate. Bob Gibson.
Conference, we're going to ask you to carry this motion. What I will say, I mean, I did speak to Rob at the start of the week, and we, on Friday last week, we did have a conference call with ROMEC about all the issues around not a pay review. Let's be clear, it is not a review of pay, it's a payroll review we've gone through. So we've looked at rates that have been paid in the past and the rates that should be applied correctly now. Because there are, or were, and probably from our point of view, we still think that there are some that are anomalies that need correcting. And we've asked ROMEC for a meeting, not on the conference call, face-to-face, to sort this stuff out. There's a number of issues within the pay, and Rob said, I did say to him, can I expand on it? Well, yeah. The 6-day allowance is another issue that they're saying in some of the correspondence what we've seen is that the CWU agreed to cease this allowance and we didn't, and we haven't, and we're not going to. It's as simple as that. We're not going to agree to the cessation. Those discussions took place in 2007 around the 6-day allowance with a fellow called Dave Bowen, who is now gone. And those discussions were not concluded because we believe we was migrating cleaners to 5-day working. And in essence, what that means is that if you migrate to 5-day working, the 6-day allowance will not apply anyway. It'll just basically be done away with. You won't need it because no one's working 6 days. But we haven't agreed to do away with that particular allowance. And we've asked ROMEC, and we're in the process now, actually. We're trying to get some dates. We thought we'd got a couple of dates sorted out with them, but we're trying to get a couple of days sorted out of them so we can go through all the ROMEC issues, not just the pay issues, all the issues that we believe now need to be brought up to date, bearing in mind that ROMEC are now back into Royal Mail. So I've got no one's got any problem with accepting this particular motion. We'll get the meeting and we will resolve those issues. What I would say is, you see, the point that Rob's making is, I've got pay matrices on my laptop which show a higher rate of pay in 2010 than what's being proposed now. And there are some rates which were being paid. This is their problem. It's not us. It's them trying to do all sorts of dodgy deals around the country, offering people like London Weighty when they worked in places like Bolton and things like that, right? We have got to resolve those issues, and there will be some cases where people are not going to be paid the amount of money that they have been paid because the rates were wrong. But what we want to do is sort the problem out properly, understand what all the rates are, and make sure, and we're confident with the fact that the cleaners are not being disadvantaged in line with our national agreement. So I would ask you to carry the motion conference.
Thanks, Bob. There's been no opposition. I'll put E2 to you. All those in favour, please show. Thank you. Any against? That's carried unanimously. What have I got?